Ask a question aloud.
Okay, so how do you guys collect student voice?
Well, one of the ways I collect student voice is we do a pre-assessment before every unit, and from there, I'll break them up into groups, and I'll take the groups back at a back table, and ask them where they want to go now. And for instance, we just did maths yesterday. We were focusing on geometry, and I took the top group back with me, and they told me what they wanted to learn, and from there, now I'm basically the facilitator and me now. And that's one of the ways we do it, by asking them, getting them involved through discussion. And they also help construct their own assessment process too. Yeah?
Oh, just individual lessons. When you've got the learning intention, when you're coming up with success criteria, often you can ask kids how they think they're going to meet that learning intention, and also how do they know when they have met it, so you're getting their feedback on that. It's important in the classroom to create an environment where student voice can be voiced, I suppose is the word. So it's in that relationship with the students, knowing that what they say, things will happen from that. If kids are saying things all the time but nothing happens, then they're not going to be comfortable to share their own thoughts on way things should be done.
So going on to that, or adding on to that, basically the same, just using their prior knowledge to help co-construct what we're doing, so co-constructing the criteria, but also, I'm not sure if it's related, having kind of the open door policy, so kids can come and talk to me about anything that they're learning, so they might think they're under a lower group than they should be, so we can retest.
Yeah, it quite happens individually sometimes with a lot of kids who feel that their learning needs aren't being met, so they can actually come up to you and say, look, I need to improve this, I want to do that, and that's where having individual student voice can come in, as well as kind of grouped class student voice.
Setting the goals as well, I guess that covers student voice, because you can see what they want to achieve and you can try and help them achieve that.
Yeah, no, I just found that if the children do construct their own learning, they have that shared or authority of their learning and ownership, authority, and in turn, I think it does enhance their learning. But in saying that, I don't know if it's for every child too. I always do it for my top and middle group, but sometimes for the lower group, they need a little bit more directed discussions.
So if, I think it's reflecting on we probably do more reflecting on our own teaching to actually direct us, rather than actually collecting student data to change the way that we're teaching.
Oh yeah, just it's again, it's an environment where students feel comfortable voicing their thoughts or their ideas, and if they feel that your teaching is not meeting their needs, then if they can voice their concerns about it or say where they want to go to next, then of course you're going to take that back and reflect on your own teaching and learning and what you're doing for your own practice, and look at how you can do that. So in a way you are kind of like action research, ever changing what you're doing within the classroom, depending on the feedback that you get, and I suppose the work and the attainment that's happening in the classroom.
So even when you're testing, that's in a way collecting student voice, so that helps you with your grouping. So so once you've done your assessment, you've actually got some, even though it's not directly from them, it's what they can do, and so that impacts on your groupings. And then, like, I've had students say to me that the work's too hard, so they want to go into another group. So you change them, so that has a direct impact on where you place them within the classroom.
And the use of student voice also, it's not always the talking part of it, it's when they can give themselves their own self-evaluations of their work and self-reflections. In a way, they're giving themselves student voice, and they're trying to make their own next steps as well, and which you can kind of read and then kind of have discussions over that. But often students will put their student voice in their self-reflections of the work or peer assessments. I've had, I suppose, discussions while kind of my action research is flowing into Te Reo Māori in the school, anything like that, and I've had to have discussions with the students why I'm putting a bit more emphasis on it and what's the reasoning behind it. So, but that's just a push from me and trying to get them just aware of why I'm doing it and what the benefits are of that. be. We think good thing with our blogs, it doesn't have to be in school for student voice to be happening.
Yeah.
It can actually happen at home when they've got a bit of time to think about something.
Yeah.
Like for the blogs this term, like yesterday in the media hub, one of our goals in there was the children had to write 3 things they wanted to improve from last term to this term, and what they maybe want to do differently. And it was good to see the difference, because we had their goals set in term 1, when we did that, and then to see their goals now, how they're, how they're moving, really. And, it was good to see, I guess.